Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. Today I'll be working with Melissa. She's a 34-year-old female. The reason she is in today is because she has an eating disorder. She eats and then purges. Melissa is a college graduate. She has had the same job since she graduated from college. She has a 7-year-old daughter and recently got married. Her 7-year-old daughter is from a previous relationship. There's been a lot of life changes going on with Melissa. Her husband moved into her home that she's had with her daughter for the last several years, and they want to start a family. And Melissa came in because of her binge eating and purging has, like I said, come to surface again. And Melissa wants to get control of it before it's out of control and causes other problems in her relationships and her own health. I will be using cognitive behavioral therapy while I'm working with Melissa, as well as self-evaluation with Melissa as an intervention. The goal is for Melissa to realize when she binges and when she purges and what she can do instead of binging and purging. The goal also for Melissa is to recognize that this is a lifelong issue, and even if she feels that therapy has solved her problems, that is definitely something that she should at least work on monthly, talking to somebody or every other month, just so that this type of behavior doesn't take control of her life again in the future. Turn it up. Okay. Hi Melissa, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, my name's Lisa. I'll be working with you. What brings you in today?
Well, I just got married, and everything's great with the relationship. I have a 7-year-old daughter from another relationship, and my husband moved into my house. So for a long time, it's just been me and my daughter. And now he's there as well. And it's not that it's bad, it's just a lot of changes. And I have a history of an eating disorder where I'll binge on food and then regret it and throw up. So, it's not healthy, and he and I are trying to have a baby, so I need to get that under control before.
Okay. So when was the first time that you had a binging, purging episode?
Well, I was younger. I was in my teenage years.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure exactly what spawned that to occur. I think the pressures of high school and trying to look a certain way, but also be athletic and get good grades, just super stressors, I guess, kind of brought that out.
So were those pressures put upon you by your own feelings, or did you feel those pressures from your family or your friends?
No, it was more like in my own head.
Okay. All right. I'm just taking notes as we're talking. So when that happened, and you went to get help for that, was that something you did on your own, or did your family help you with that?
My family did, because they started to see I was hiding food in my room, and then they would hear me getting sick, and I always told them I had a stomach bug or something, and then finally they caught on that you don't always have a stomach bug, so they kept hounding me to go to counseling or figure out what was wrong. And I wasn't ever upset about it. It was just I would try and watch what I was eating, and then I wouldn't eat enough, and then I'd eat too much, and then I'd feel sick and throw up. So I ended up going to counseling for about 6 months, and it seemed to help. I haven't been back since then.
Okay. So during that 6 months, when you were in counseling, what were some of the tools that the counselor gave you to help with your binging and purging?
At first we just talked about what the stressors were. I was in high school, so, boys and sports, and I was really, really busy. I also was working a job and all of those things. I had a boyfriend at one time. At the same time, I was getting a new job, and we were starting a new sport. So there was a lot of things going on, and I just felt a lot of pressure. So we worked through that. And then what ended up helping was, watching what I was eating, taking notes on it, trying to figure out exactly what foods it was so that we knew where to focus on, whether it was junk food or, not junk food. There for a while, I was doing shakes and would only eat shakes and then would eat a lot of junk. So.
Okay. So after you finished that and you went to college, did you have any of that happen during college?
No. In college, I just focused on academics and having a good time. There weren't a whole lot of new abrupt changes at one time. I mean, moving into college, there was a little bit of that. But, I was just going to school and it was pretty easy. It seems to be like when I have life changes, like when I was in high school, too many things at one time.
Okay. So how did you meet your daughter's father?
We dated in college.
Okay. So did the pregnancy happen in college or kind of after college?
We were in the midst of graduating. So we graduated and we stayed together for about 4 or 5 months, and I ended up pregnant. So.
Okay. And then how long did that relationship last after college?
He's a part of her life, but I mean, we're friends and she sees her dad, but the relationship didn't last after college.
Okay. And then how did you meet your husband, your current husband?
We used to work together, and we were friends and we worked together. We dated a couple times, and then after I left the job, it seemed more okay to be dating and be out there. So that's how we met.
And does he have a good relationship with your daughter?
Oh yeah, they get along great.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. So how long have you been married?
We just got married 4 months ago in September.
And then did you guys live together before you got married? No.
Mm-mm.
So how has that been with him moving in and, his whole lifestyle coming into your home now?
I mean, I was familiar, you never really know how people live until you live with them, but, just typical quirks, like leaving things out, not cleaning up in the bathroom, nothing. He's not absolutely terrible, but it takes me getting used to because I'm used to being in control of my living environment. Like he would come spend the night for weekends and things like that, but never really living together. So it's hard to ask him to do things because I've been on my own for so long doing it by myself. So, there's been some friction there with him wanting me to ask for help, but I refuse to do that. And I think that's what triggers the stress in eating is because I need the help with someone else living there, and I know that we're in a relationship, but at the same time, I'm just used to doing it on my own and, having my routine and my routine with my daughter, and, it's just becoming overwhelming.
Okay. So when did the first binging episode happen once your husband moved into the house with you?
That weekend.
The very first weekend?
Pretty much.
Okay. And is that just because he's in your space now? Like, you didn't get in an argument or anything?
No, he just brought all of his things over, and instead of starting to organize them and put them away, they all just sat in the living room for days. And instead of telling him we need to put this away, because I assumed that he knew to do that, I just got in my own head and it just drove me crazy. And so he would go to bed and I would eat ice cream and, potato chips and just stress out and then throw up.
Okay. All right. So you guys been living together for a couple months. So how often do you think that you're binging and purging due to like the stressors that are going on?
Usually late at night, probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
When I was in high school, it was every day, multiple times a day.
Okay.
Now it's not as bad. But I feel like getting there.
And does it happen, like you said, with the previous one, with him just not, I guess, not that he's not helping you, but kind of not being there or doing what you need him to do in a timely manner?
He's not initiating assistance in the house.
Now, have you talked to him about this? Have you?
A little bit, but I'm not good at that because I don't want conflict, and we don't usually fight or argue over things, and I feel like, I was ready for him to move in, but now I'm not sure, so I try not to say anything because I don't know what to say, and that's when I get into my own thoughts, and it just drives me crazy.
Okay. So going back on not being able to really tell him how you're feeling in a way to, do more around the house, have you ever thought about writing it down to him, like sending an email or a text, like try communicating in a different way? Because some people can't say, they have a lot they want to say, but they don't know how to say it. So sometimes writing it out can be helpful. Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't tried that.
Okay. Give me that. Okay, well, I think that might be a good first step for you to do to open up communication. Do you think that he would be willing to respond to that type of communication?
I think so. I mean, we have a really good relationship. I mean, we want to have a baby and everything. I just know that it's me internalizing things, and I am revisiting a negative wheel, so I'm taking this step to get ahead of it.
Okay. So I think with that'll be, I think, something you should do in the next week. I mean, even if you want to bring it back in for me to look at it, we can go over it together before you give it to him. Like, I'm willing to do that if that's something that you want to do. But back to the binging and purging late at night. Have you ever tried to do something else when you feel the urge to do that, like read or watch a movie, or is that just something that gives you more comfort doing the binging and purging?
It's a comfort thing. It's like a splurge. It's when I can just finally relax and then I notice I don't have a turn off button when it comes to food that way. And I don't eat good meals throughout the day. I'm busy. I work from home. I get my daughter off to school, but next thing I know, I'm on my way to work and I haven't had anything to eat. So I go all day without eating, and then, sometimes he gets home late, and so he eats dinner on his own. So I'm not in a good routine with food, so I know that's part of it.
Okay.
And then, with him being here, I'm used to eating so healthy, and it's not that he eats unhealthy, it's just I have to get used to cooking things that we'll eat. So part of that is the problem too, I think.
So you're not having, like, what I'm hearing is you don't have like a consistent schedule either with eating, even with just the family. So do you even eat dinner with the family?
I mean, I cook my daughter, like chicken nuggets with grilled cheese because she's starving when she gets home from school. But, usually by the time she's eating, I'd already had something shortly before she got home. And so then she's done eating and he's not home until 7:30. And, I don't feel like cooking at 7:30. So.
Okay. So there's a couple things that I would like to talk about that may be something that you can start in your home. For one, getting on a schedule. I mean, that can be difficult. Things change daily. But I wanted to start out small. Maybe like you, your husband, and your daughter do dinner at least twice a week together.
Right.
I think it'll also be good for your daughter as well, just to, have that family time together with the three of you. Especially because this man isn't her father, and it's just a better way of getting to know somebody who's just moved in.
Right.
And then I would like you to meet with a nutritionist. Would you be willing to meet with a nutritionist? Because I can give you information to one. And then another thing, you mentioned before that you did when you were a teenager was keeping a food journal. I want you to start doing that again. And just recognizing what you're eating through the day. So when you come back next week, we can look over it. And you'll look over that as well with the nutritionist. And then when you're feel the need to binge at nighttime, I would try and do something else. I mean, it might be difficult in the beginning to do that the first few times, or try and pick something healthy to eat instead of the ice cream or the chips.
Right.
Is that something that you think you're able to do or
Yeah,
try
try it.
doing? Okay. Do you have any thoughts about it or concerns?
Not really.
No. Okay. All right. And then I guess one other thing I just want to bring up too. I would like to keep you on a weekly schedule for now. Does that seem reasonable? Something that you're able to keep up with?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is too, with what's going on. I think it's something that's lifelong that you will most likely deal with. So I want to work on you being successful and not having these issues
Right.
forever. That's why I'm glad you're here to get the tools that you need to live healthy.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't really have any other questions. I can give you all the information that you need before you leave. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share?
No.
Okay. Well, it was nice seeing you today. Thank
You too.
you.